Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the Sheridan County Journal-Star YouTube channel for a special presentation today of cross country, as I am at the Gordon Country Club here in Gordon, as GR hosts their annual Invitational. This year it is over in Gordon. Last year we were in Rushville for this event. Really excited to be here again this year, second year doing the cross country meet. It went really well last year. Get to see all the action. We're going to have a great vantage point here today. We're not going to have a great vantage point for the start, as I've got the camera pointed at the start here. The middle schoolers are going to take off in 5 minutes, 4 o'clock on that race, followed by the varsity girls and the varsity boys and the high school side of things. So we don't have a great view of the start. They're going to run out. It'll be from left to right on your screen, out onto the course, and then they're going to loop around hole number 5 here at the Gordon Country Club, and then angle back towards us, and we're going to get to catch them on the latter half of the race all the way up into the finish. So while we may not get the beginning of the race, we're going to get the finish, which is sometimes the most exciting part of a cross-country race. Want to give a shout out right off the bat to Gordon Country Club for being so accommodating for me here today, providing internet and power, and of course a vantage point up here on the deck of the clubhouse. So very thankful to them and their hospitality. Big shout out to GR cross country coaches and staff for allowing me to come in and broadcast this, and really excited. Cross country is one of my favorite sports. Of course, I married a collegiate cross country and track and field alum, so cross country and track are pretty important in our household, and I've got to learn about it. Wasn't involved in it when I was in high school, but have learned a lot, and I'm excited to once again bring you these races. There is a lot of downtime. I'm not going to lie to you. We're not going to see the kids for a while. They're going to take off and head the other direction, but we will catch them. I'll show you my angle here in a little bit of them coming up what is the 4th hole here at Gordon Country Club. They're going to run from the green to the tee box right in front of us. We're going to get a great view of them as they head across the road and go over to hole number 1 and run a small loop over there before finishing here. The high school will run the same course, except they'll run it twice. So the middle schoolers will run 1 lap, and that's it for all the marbles. And then the older kiddos will run 2 laps. So we'll get to see them twice. Should have plenty of action, be able to follow along with everybody and see where everybody's at. Really good numbers here for Gordon-Rushville, and Hay Springs is at this meet. Another team that I cover for the Sheridan County Journal-Star, so very excited to see them here today as well. Really good numbers in Sheridan County as a whole for cross-country. In the middle school race for Gordon-Rushville on the girls' side, we're going to be looking for Brittany Denning, Madison DeLiesel, Josephine Brest, and Ezra Bourne. Hay Springs does not have any middle school girls, but they do have some middle school boys. I'll tell you about them right now. William Gaswick, Duke Turman, Gage Didier, Braxton Spicer, and Arian Mata are the 5 young men running for the Hawks. Middle school boys for GR, there's 8 of them I have on the list. Cordell Denning, Colvin Perry, Logan Hoops, Ian Mills, Rylan Karasik, Brock Fish, Santos Sitch, and Liam Karasik. So 8 young men on the roster for the middle school boys. Now, you never know who is going to run. That's the roster they started with at the beginning of the year, but it could change, of course. We'll have to wait and see who comes through. I'll be, once again, brutally honest with you. I don't know the middle schoolers as well as I know the high schoolers. So if I misidentify somebody or say the wrong kiddo, I will apologize ahead of time for that. But we'll try to keep our eye on everybody and get them into the screen as they come through here. Weather today is probably a little bit on the warm side. 92 degrees, it said on my way over here. The Weather Channel has it at 95, one of those hot, dry days. And there go the middle schoolers into the teeth of the heat. They take off and they head out down the fairway of hole number 6 here at Gordon Country Club. And they're going to make their way around and going to come out over here on hole number 4. Let me rotate the camera. I got to move the camera quite a bit, so I'll try to go slow so I don't give anybody whiplash. We'll pan over here to hole number 4. And you can see in your screen there the line. So they're going to come up in the kind of middle right portion of your screen. They're going to come down that line and then head right to us. And they're going to turn there and go over onto hole number 1. And they will be here shortly, so it will not take them very long to complete that portion of the loop and come out right here in front of us. Beautiful day out here at Gordon Country Club. It is warm, like I said, but there's a good breeze coming out of the west. Doesn't feel too bad. Still a little too warm for this time of year, but I guess it's better than snow. But if you are in town in the Gordon-Rushville area or even Hay Springs, you got time to get over here for the varsity action. Come on out. There's no charge. Just park. You have to park a little bit further away from the clubhouse than normal, as there's quite a few cars lining that. You can see it on the left side there. But it is free to the public to come out and watch. So come on down and enjoy a little cross-country action here in Gordon. The only home event for the Mustang Cross Country team is today. They were in Chadron on Tuesday and back home here today. It's been a good year for GR's cross-country team. For the middle schoolers, one of the first young ladies we're going to see, maybe the first young lady we're going to see, is Brittany Denning. Brittany Denning, the Mustang, has won a couple races, been top 10 all year long. On the flip side, for the boys, we're going to see Arian Mata at the top or towards the top or at the top for the Hawks. He just won the middle school race in Hot Springs on Tuesday. So, Hot Springs, South Dakota. Mata took home first place. So, pretty fast middle schoolers, along with just a lot of them. A lot of participation going on here. A lot of kiddos getting out and putting in the miles on the cross-country courses. And, of course, pounding the pavement in the streets. It's a pretty common sight in Gordon, at least at my office on Main Street. You see the kids running every day, rain or shine, heat, cold, wind, sun, clouds, doesn't matter. They're out there putting the miles in. Cross-country is definitely one of those non-forgiving sports. If you don't put the work in, it's going to show, and you're going to feel it. We're awaiting the first runners to come down that white line. See, the crowd's going to block our view partially, but we should be able to see a lot of them. Big shout out on your screen there, SCJS photographer Chris Heiser so kindly donates his time to take pictures of the cross-country team. You can see those photos in our newspaper every week. Try to feature a couple photos from Mr. Heiser as he attends a majority of the meets and volunteers his time and his camera to take pictures. So I know this newspaper editor appreciates him very much, and he's out here yet again today. Of course, we'll see his son run in the varsity portion of the high school race. Still waiting that first runner. Now, when they do show up here, when you see them, there's not a lot of race left. So we're going to be high times, bringing on the pressure. We'll see if we've got any jousting going on toward the top. We'll try to name out these Sheridan County runners as they come in. Once again, I'm not as familiar with the middle school as I am with the high school, so if I tell you somebody is somebody and I'm wrong, don't hold it against me. I'll do my best to identify them as they come in. They will finish right below your screen there. You can see, I believe that's a Mustang runner right there walking across. Right below her is where they will finish. I see the cart, so we have our first runner. Blue golf cart leading the way. Behind the blue golf cart, I see a young man coming. Don't look like he's in GR clothes, but it might be Mata. Keep our eye on it right here. That is Arian Mata from Hay Springs leading the way. The middle school boys race. Behind him is a young man from, I'm not sure if it's Valentine or Shadron. Or is it Hemingford? I'm not sure which. A lot of red and black out here in the Panhandle for team colors. Here comes a host of runners now on your screen. We got another group of gentlemen, also our first lady. Our first Mustang as well. I see them coming through here. I believe that's Cordell Denning for GR. Coming through, I've got him in about 4th place currently. Right behind him, I see his sister, Brittany Denning. Denning wearing the blue and orange. There she is on your screen. Also our second Hay Springs Hawk. That is probably Braxton Spicer, I believe, if I've got him identified correctly. They'll head out to hole number 1 and run that loop now. We got another mass of runners coming on your screen there, as you can see on the right. Right in front here, I believe this is Santos Sitch from Gordon-Rushville. Hopefully I'm saying that last name right. I've never called anything for him. Could be Gage Didier there for the Hawks. I see Ian Mills behind him for the Mustangs. So we got a Hawk and a Mustang coming through here. Now another Mustang. That's Colvin Perry. Perry trying to chase down a few individuals in front of him. I can see a host of Mustangs coming here next. We'll try to get them all identified here as fast as we can. I think that's Brock Fish. Yes, it is. Brock Fish, and then Madison DeLiesel. Logan Hoops right there. And then 2 Mustangs. No, 1 Mustang there. That's Josephine Brest. And then Liam Karasik right after them. Behind Liam is Ezra Bourne. Bourne coming in the 4th and final Mustang young lady for the middle school. Keeping our eye out on the left here for Mata. Arian Mata from Hay Springs leading the middle school race. Overall leader. Boys and girls, of course, run together for the middle school. We'll keep our eye out. I think Mata is coming in, so we're going to just kind of adjust our angle here. We'll include the finish line, but also try to keep our eyes on those runners coming down hole number 4. I can see Mata. He's got about another 500 or 600 yards to go, but he's going to be close. He's going to be our first place finisher from Hay Springs. He's going to win back-to-back races as he won the middle school race in Hot Springs, South Dakota on Tuesday, sorry. Now cruising to a first place finish here. There's the lead cart. Here comes Mata, the Hawk. Cross-country runner going to push it to the end here. And he's going to finish in first place from Hay Springs, Luis Mata. Excellent. Good to see the young man from Sheridan County having a good race here in his home county. Hay Springs does not host a meet, so this is as close as the Hawks are going to get to that home meet. I guess Shadron is technically closer to Hay Springs than Gordon is, but school-wise, second place finisher coming in. Here comes the first Mustang. Cordell Denning racing to the finish. Also, our first ladies are coming in, as Cordell Denning is going to finish in 3rd place for the Mustangs. In the middle school side of it, 2 young ladies coming in as there's a race to the finish. I believe that's two Shadron Cardinals. There's a Shadron Cardinal coming in for the boys' side of it. That could be Valentine right there. As she races for the finish. Here comes, I believe, Braxton Spicer from the Hawks. He's coming in here for the finish. Hawks got two in here. Young lady here. I'm not sure what the blue team is. Off to my left, I see Brittany Denning. Brittany will be the first Mustang girl in here as she goes past the practice green here toward the finish. Santos Sitch coming right after her. So there goes Denning. She's in about 4th or 5th place overall. Santos coming in right here. Strong finish from the young man from GR. A couple Valentine runners going neck and neck. Here comes Ian Mills. We got ourselves a race here. Mills trying to chase down the Hawks runner. Can he get him? He will not. Gets held off, but a good effort there by Ian Mills. Right behind Mills is Colvin Perry. Perry coming in for the GR middle schoolers. Good run from Perry. We've got another good race here between two young ladies. They see that finish line, and it's an all-out go, all gas, no brakes to the finish. Exciting stuff. Here comes Brock Fish from Gordon-Rushville. Fish will cross. And we got Logan Hoops coming in right there. Young man from GR. Nice job by Hoops. Seen a few Mustangs come through already. I believe that's a Shadron Cardinal coming in there. Working our way toward the finish. Now we got another race here. Another sprint for the finish. Madison DeLiesel coming in now. DeLiesel, the second young lady from Gordon-Rushville to finish. She goes right in. And Liam Karasik pushing for the finish here. A couple of Mustangs back to back. Now we got a race here between a young man and Josephine Brest. And Brest is going to get the edge. Can she hold on? She does. Back behind her, Ezra Bourne. She's coming through. A lot of Mustangs to pay attention to in the middle school ranks. Good to see those numbers nice and high for GR. A couple more young ladies coming through. We got a Hawk coming through here. Good finish there. Not sure which young man that is for Hay Springs. They only had 3 boys running, I believe, today. I know the Mustangs are missing Rylan Karasik today. Got a few more coming in here. Up next will be the varsity girls race. A couple more runners coming in. I see a few more off to my left. We're not quite finished here yet with the middle school. I'd say about 40 to 45 kids running in the middle school. And this is not the biggest meet of the year, but always a fun one. A lot of the people are working their way back to the start line, as we'll have the varsity girls and the varsity boys. So middle school race is fast and furious. Boys and girls, same time. A couple more runners coming in. Couple more kids are working their way back, finishing up their 3K. Young lady pushing to the finish here from Morrill. Good to see the Lions made the trip up to Gordon for the meet. I see the tail end cart coming up, escorting a few runners who were toward the end here into the finish line. Always tip your cap to the runners who are finishing. Time is not anything special. It's about starting and finishing, and this individual was pushing hard. Crossing the road, heading home. Really good job here by this Shadron runner. Coming in, I believe this will be the final runner of the middle school race. It's a nice round of applause there from the fans waiting for them to come in. So, that's our middle school portion. Haysprings Hawk Arian Mata finishes first. So exciting for the Hawks fans out there if you're watching, tuning in today. Mata has won back-to-back races now. And having a great 8th grade year is Mata. Hawks, they have good numbers. I mean, Haysprings is not a very big school, obviously. Not the enrollment of even Gordon-Rushville has, or, of course, Shadron and some of the bigger schools around. But good numbers for the Hawks, and also a couple of really outstanding runners. Parker Wellnitz, will see him run in the boys' varsity race. Wellnitz, state qualifier, has been notching top 10 finishes all over the state. I expect him to compete for that first place position in the boys' race. But up first will be the girls. Keep your eye on Mustang freshman Kinsley Krebs. Krebs has quite a few top 10 finishes, top 5 finishes this year. She'll look to set the tone here on her home course. Also, Ashlyn Denning has had an outstanding sophomore year. Denning, a lot of top 10 finishes under her belt as well. So, and then Riley Barker, who's a senior for the Mustangs, and Iris Clark. Barker has top 10 finishes under her belt as well. And Riley should have a strong performance here today. And Iris Clark has been doing a good job her senior year. Not finishing in the top 10, but still running well. We'll see her run again here today for the girls. For Hay Springs, Emma Albrecht is the only Hawk varsity runner. Emma, a freshman.
Head towards the starting line. Girl runners, please head towards the starting line.
Announcement has just come out for the young ladies to head to the starting line. We're going to get ready to start that race here in just a bit. Not a traditional broadcast for me. Normally I work in all the sponsors, and during timeouts or breaks in volleyball, football, basketball, even wrestling. Cross country, I'm not going to be presented with that much of an opportunity. But big thanks to all of my sponsors for their support, no matter where I go, including a cross country meet for the first time this year. And the only time this year, I should add. I don't know if anybody else is doing any cross country broadcasting, but happy to do it here on the SCJS YouTube channel. So people are starting to fill in out here. Getting to be a good crowd. Still plenty of time for you to get here. If you're in Gordon, be a little tougher if you're in Rushville. Girls are getting close to starting. As I mentioned earlier, we don't get a very good shot of the start, but we will be able to see them when they come over here on hole number 4. And high school is going to do 2 loops, so we're going to see them come through twice, and then we'll see them finish. So it'll be a good vantage point. Waiting on the start of the girls' race. Middle school's in the books. Now it's time for the ladies to take to the course, and then the gentlemen will follow. Not what you had in mind when you schedule a cross-country meet for the end of September when it comes to weather. A very toasty day here in Sheridan County, 90-plus degrees. There is a good breeze here, but it definitely still feels like summer. I know there's a cool down coming next week, but not today. Weather is warm. Runners really need to hydrate. Didn't see it affect the middle schoolers too much. Of course, they run a little shorter distance. Might come into more play for the high schoolers. In the 5K, 5,000 meters, 3.1 miles is your cross-country course. This course here at Gordon Country Club is fairly flat. It is not much for hills. You're not going to gain much on the elevation. A nice rolling course. It's been a dry year here in the Gordon area and the Panhandle. The staff here at Gordon Country Club has done a nice job to keep these greens and fairways as green and tee boxes as green as they can. Some of the rough areas where you're not supposed to hit the ball, that's where I usually hit the ball, but where you're not supposed to hit the golf ball, they're getting a little brown as they don't get the water. So all intents and purposes for this time of year and a little rain we've gotten, the course looks good. Starting gun is fired. And the ladies have taken off. So the varsity girls portion is underway as the athletes run down the 6th fairway away from the camera. They'll make a loop around, come around on hole number 5, which runs parallel to the road there on the east side of Gordon Country Club, and then they will turn the corner at the tee box at 5 and come down 4, and then, of course, cross the road and go run around 1, 2, and 3. only looks like about 20 varsity girls in this race. So it's going to be a smaller race. As I just watched them kind of go to my right through the trees here, we'll flip our camera to our view here. We'll adjust it and get a better look as they come down 4, as I'll take you on a little zoom in trip here. They will come out of that white line in the upper right portion of your screen, so keep your eye there. It's going to be a little bit, though. We're going to have a little downtime here as we wait. That's the one caveat to broadcasting cross country is you kind of do a lot of waiting, and then it gets really exciting for a while, and then you do some more waiting, and then the final excitement of the finish. Should be 4 young ladies we're looking for Gordon-Rushville. 1 from Hay Springs. Kinsley Krebs, Ashlyn Denning, Riley Barker, Iris Clark, and Emma Albrecht are our 5 Sheridan County runners. 4 from GR, 1 from Hay Springs. Mustang football team will travel to Mitchell tomorrow, take on the Tigers in Mitchell. So I'm not going to be covering that game tomorrow. I do believe Mitchell has a streaming service. Hopefully the school will post it so we can all watch. I will be joining you watching that. I will be in Hay Springs taking photographs and covering their football game, their homecoming football game. So I will be out and about, but with 2 high schools in town, sometimes I got to split and can't be 2 places at once. So I'm going to cover Hay Springs as we had. I've only been to Gordon-Rushville games so far. Got to get over and see the Hawks play. Of course, Hay Springs number 2 in the state and 6-man in the rankings. So another good year for Coach Jenkins and crew over there in Hay Springs. So, but if you're looking for Mustang football tomorrow, I'd encourage you to take a road trip to Mitchell and enjoy that. It's a beautiful stadium down there. Mitchell's a nice town. Beautiful high school there. Mike Kreitman and I have made a couple trips to Mitchell over the years for football, and always been treated very well, but I will not be broadcasting tomorrow. The volleyball team will be in Mitchell on Saturday for a tournament, coming off a home loss on Tuesday. Not what the Mustangs were looking for there, as they had a 5-game winning streak snapped. Speaking of 5-game winning streaks, the Hay Springs Hawks volleyball team on a bit of a winning streak. They should be playing here, I believe, in 2 minutes. 4:30 start in Layton for the Hawks volleyball team. Layton and Kimball are there. I'm not sure which games the Hawks are. Probably the first and the second, I would think. Probably play Layton first and then Kimball. Kimball is closer to Layton than Hay Springs is. So Hawks will be playing Layton and Kimball today. And then I'm not sure what their schedule is for the weekend. I haven't looked that far ahead. I just know the Mustangs are back-to-back days, Mitchell for the football team, then Mitchell for the volleyball team. Looks like some members of the Gordon-Rushville volleyball team have made their way out to cheer on the Mustangs. It's good to see. Always good to see other sports coming out and cheering on their classmates. And I see the lead cart, so we're going to have some action coming to you. Enough of me jibber-jabbering. Let's see who is leading the pack. I see blue shorts. That's a Mustang for sure. It might be 2 Mustangs in a row. It is. I think that's Krebs and Denning. Krebs and Denning leading the way of the race and the Mustangs. Actually, I see 3 Mustangs in the top 4. That third one's going to be Riley Barker. So Looks like Krebs, Denning, and then a young lady from Morrill, and then Barker for the Mustangs. 3 of the top 4 RGR runners. As they're going to come to the turn here, see them go through the sidewalk. They're going to head out onto hole number 1 and run down there, as there's Riley Barker coming into your screen right now. Mustang senior in 4th place overall, 3rd Mustang coming through. We got a young lady from Little Wound here in 5th place. And then back over to hole 4 is pretty good distance between the top 5 and then the next runner. But 3 of the top 5 are Mustangs. So very exciting if you're a Mustang fan. I see the 4th Mustang coming as well down the fairway on number 4. Iris Clark heading toward the turn. She would be in 8th place right now for Clark. So the 4th Mustang is through the first turn here. There's Iris Clark right there, crossing under the trees on the sidewalk. Now back over, not far behind her, is Emma Albrecht, the freshman from Hay Springs. Taking a run at a Crawford Ram there. Albrecht will head out onto 1. A couple of the young ladies coming through here as we await the lead pack. A few more runners working their way in. Now the high school will do 2 loops. So when they come back through, you can see down below there, they're going to go left. There's an orange line on the ground right in between Western Nebraska Community College and Modern Farm Equipment. There's a line that will take the high school runners to the left. So we got another young lady from Crawford coming through. I see the Rams on her jersey. Catching a glimpse to the left of our lead pack. We got our young lady from Little Wound coming through. That's our last runner. So we're going to pan left here. We're going to try to get a shot of the Mustangs leading the pack over here, coming down the fairway of hole number 3. As the young lady from Little Wound will go through. There's the chase cart. So we are complete as we look across the road now. You can see over there on the far left, there is the cart, and you're going to start to see Kinsley Krebs and Ashlyn Denning coming into view, along with the runner from Morrill. The runner from Morrill in the hip pocket of Krebs on her right. Denning trailing behind. And then there is Riley Barker with the young lady from Little Wound right behind her. As they come across the road, Krebs now in 2nd place behind the young lady from Morrill. Let me pan this down here. Krebs in 2nd. Now Denning right behind Krebs in 3rd place. Back over here, there's Riley Barker. Barker in 4th. Giving chase to Denning and Krebs and the lead pack. A little bit of separation between Barker and the young lady from Little Wound. As the chase pack is coming up the third green right now. Definitely going to be a play between those top 5 girls right there, including 3 Mustangs. So excited to see how that plays out. As it looks like the Mustangs, barring any sort of crazy injury or anything like that, are going to have 3 in the top 5 of their home meet. That should be good enough to secure the team title. Got a young lady crossing the road here. From Valentine. And here comes Iris Clark. Clark, the Mustang senior, going to cross the road and get ready to go back out for her second loop. Clark is in 6th place currently. There goes Iris, Mustang senior, at her home meet. Coach Schmidt gives her a little water, cool her off. There goes a Valentine runner and a Shadron runner coming through. Here comes a Crawford runner. A Shadron runner. Got a runner from Little Wound coming through. Gonna make the turn, and then I see Emma Albrecht from Hay Springs. Making her way across the road. The freshman, the only young lady in the Hay Springs cross country program is Emma Albrecht. Outnumbered 7-1 on the middle school and high school ranks, but Emma having a good freshman year, running well. Currently in the top 10 in this race. Take a zoom out there. Sorry, I don't have quite the touch that Brad does with the camera. Couple more runners here coming across the road as we wait to see who is going to be the first young lady to emerge on hole number 4 here as we hit the backstretch of this one. Runner from Little Wound comes through. Final two runners coming through. Gonna head out for their second loop. One from Little Wound and one from Crawford. So we will now wait for the leaders. And there's the cart, soon to appear on the upper right portion of your screen. There's the first view of it right there. And we'll see what happened on that second loop as these runners are getting closer and closer to the finish. Looks like the young lady from Morrill leading the pack. No sight of anyone behind her, and she's created some separation with Kinsley Krebs and Ashlyn Denning, the two Mustangs. And that, I believe, is Krebs. And Denning behind her. So I'm not sure of the name of the young lady from Morrill, but she is leading the way here as she comes to the left side of your screen. Pretty sizable lead that she created on the back half of the course. Here comes Kinsley Krebs in second place. Krebs leading the way for Ashlyn Denning, who's right there behind her teammate, as they are working hard. Runner from Little Wound pushes past Denning. And Riley Barker, the senior, coming through in fifth place. So Krebs in second, Denning in fourth, Barker in fifth currently for the Mustangs, as they head out for their final leg of this race. It'll be the last time for Barker and Clark on their home course, their home invitational. So as both the young ladies are having great senior years, continuing that here today, looking for a top 5 finish. Should have it, barring any issues on the backside. Waiting on the sixth place runner, I'm sorry. Come down the fourth fairway here. There she is. From Valentine, I believe. Sixth place runner coming down the fourth fairway. And here she comes, sixth place. Young lady from Valentine, not sure of her name, but good job to this young lady. Our friends to the east, the Badgers, coming through. All now looking for Iris Clark, and I've got eyes on her. Not sure if the camera's picked her up yet. She's kind of under the tree there. Let me turn it this way just a skosh. And there's Iris in the upper right-hand portion of your screen. Coming through, also can see the lead cart heading down the fairway on 3. So we're going to have our top 5 ladies coming in here shortly. We'll see what happened over there if Krebs was able to close the gap. Denning as well. Denning was chasing the 3rd place runner. And the young lady from Little Wound, who was in 3rd place, was surging. We'll see if Krebs could hold her off. She was running a really good back half of the race. So we'll kind of see how this all pans out. Iris Clark, here she comes. 4th Mustang coming through, currently in 7th place. 7th place for Clark. Takes a shot of water on her way through. And there she goes. Clark will cross the road, and there's the lead cart. Coming through, the runner from Morrill is going to win it. And she has widened the gap between her and Krebs. And crosses the road here, your 1st place female. And the varsity coming through. I said, good job, Cece. So if you're a Morrill fan, you probably know who that is, as she will finish in 1st place. Now back the other way. For the Mustangs, here comes Kinsley Krebs. 2nd place finish for the Mustang freshman as she comes through strong. Gets the finish there, 2nd place. Right behind her is teammate Ashlyn Denning, who's coming in strong, holding off the runner from Little Wound. Denning able to get back in 3rd place and get that 3rd place finish. There's the young lady from Little Wound. So Krebs was 2, Denning was 3, and here comes Riley Barker. Barker crossing the road there. Heading in is Riley Barker. Barker, strong finish for the senior. 5th place overall. 5th place for Riley Barker. Good job, Riley. Mustangs go 2, 3, and 5. Now awaiting Iris Clark, the 4th runner, and as we see a Crawford Ram go through. Mustang girls in a good position here to win the meet with the 2, 3, and 5 placings. Going to have a little wait here. As I can see the runner from Valentine, she's about a quarter of the way down hole number 3 there. So she's got a long stretch of road before we see another runner come through. Got a runner coming from Little Wound coming through. Waiting on our 6th place runner to come through. I believe after this runner from Valentine, we should see Iris Clark, the final Mustang, to come through. And here comes the sixth-place finisher from Valentine. Coming through. Nice run there from the young lady from Valentine. And I see Iris Clark. She's coming up here. Going to go around the green here at hole number 3 and going to come into the home stretch for the finish. Here comes Clark. 7th place finish for Iris. The 4th Mustang to come through, the senior. Going to notch a top 10 finish here today. Iris Clark coming through. To the finish line is Clark. Now we got a young lady from Chadron coming through. And another runner coming in, looks like from Valentine. Being chased by a Crawford Ram, but I'm not sure she's going to be caught. This young lady from Valentine is going to make it just ahead of her opponent right there. So, first Crawford Ram is in. Got another young lady from Chadron coming through. There she goes. To the finish. Still have not seen the final runner come through yet. I know there's a young lady from Little Wound coming through right now on hole number 4. She'll have to go out and do the loop out on holes 1, 2, and 3 before she will finish. I have not seen the cart yet, so there's still another runner out there. At least one. Boys race will start following the completion of the girls portion. So we got a young lady from Crawford coming down here on hole number 4, working her way to the turn. It's a hot day here in Gordon, into the 90s. I heard 95 some places, up to 98 others. Not exactly what you had in mind for a cross-country meet in later September, but these kids are getting it done in the heat. I don't envy them one bit. I'm sitting on a stool in the shade. So tip my hat to everybody competing here today. Still waiting on the final runner to come through. Have not seen her yet. We got a runner from Little Wound coming in. Good job there by the athlete from Little Wound. Coming through the finish. I see Emma Albrecht coming to the home stretch here. Freshman from Hay Springs is working her way in. There is the final runner. She'll be coming into your screen on the right here. Boys are slated to start at 5. I'm pretty sure they wait for everything to be done. They're starting to line up over there, though, are the boys. Emma Albrecht coming across the road. Here she comes. Freshman from Hay Springs, digging deep. Pushing to the finish on a hot day here in Gordon. Final runner coming through from Little Wound. Making the turn. Final girls are finishing up. Boys are coming up here shortly. Just a few more girls. Boys are supposed to start at 5 p.m., so we'll waiting for the girls' race to finish, and then the boys will take off. Looks like quite a few more boys will be running. Wasn't a lot of girls running today. Kind of hurry up and wait here, broadcasting cross country, but hope you guys are enjoying it. I'm having a good time. I would be out here either way, whether I was taking pictures or doing the broadcast, so big thanks to Chris Heiser for taking photos for me and allowing me to do the broadcast. So, exciting girls race here as the Mustangs go 2, 3, 5. Krebs, Denning, and Barker. And then Iris Clark finishes in 7th. So the 4 Mustang girls in the top 10. Awaiting the boys' race as we have a few more young ladies out on the course. Middle school, Arian Motto from Hay Springs finishing first place. The girls and boys run together, so it's kind of hard to tell who finished where as far as girls and boys ranking is. I'm not sure if you guys have ever utilized athletic.net, but that will have all the results. And if I'm unable to attend a meet, that is where I go to get all the information I need. We got a runner coming in here. crossing the road. The athlete from Little Wound is going to finish strong here. Good finish there. Awaiting the last, I think it's 2 girls in the girls' race to come in. As we've kind of snuck past the 5 o'clock hour, so the boys are going to have to wait to start their race here, as we've got, like I said, 2 runners still on the course. One of them is getting close to the finish here. She comes around the corner on the green on number 3, and it's a Crawford Ram. Crossing the road here in just a second. There she is. Digging deep to finish strong. Congratulations to that young lady on a strong finish and a good race. Once again, tip your cap to everybody. It's out there running. I'm just sitting up here on a stool in the shade. Pretty easy gig for me. Everybody's out there running the miles. Have not seen the final runner yet on hole number 3. Oh, there she is. Coming down hole number 3. Our final runner in the girls' portion of the race. When she makes her way in on her race, then the boys will take off. Wait for her to get a little closer to the road here. We'll show her coming in. Mr. Ming out there volunteering his time. He's out there at that pivotal road, steering runners home, giving the last bit of encouragement as they make their way in. And our final female runner is crossing the road, working her way in. Valiant effort by the young lady from Little Wound. That will be the conclusion of the girls' race, and we're ready for the boys. The boys are over at the start line. We're going to see them take off here in just a minute. Boys are lining up. And this will be the final race of the afternoon. Should be a good race. Mustangs with 7 boys in the race, and then Haysprings with 2. Luke Laws and Parker Wellnitz have been battling it out all year toward the top 10s, and then the Mustangs, of course, took home the team title in Bridgeport last week. So Mustang team is really starting to find their groove. Robert Moore, Riley Leffler, both freshmen. Jackson Roffers, Aiden Heiser, Dragan Leonard, sophomores. Luke Laws, a sophomore. And the lone junior is Elijah Ross. So Mustang cross country team is young. They're not going to have anyone graduate. These young men are going to be doing this for at least one more year. They'll lose Eli when he graduates next year, but then that group of 6 will be together for another couple years. The boys are off and running. Won't take them very long to get the first split and head back toward the clubhouse here. Looks like about double, maybe 30 boys, 25, 30 boys for this portion. So we should have a little more action than the girls. Not a lot of girls running today from these schools. Cross-country numbers are not high a lot of places, but here at Gordon-Rushville they are. Coach Schmidt and Coach Hall have really strong programs, both on the boys and girls side. So tip your hat to those two coaches and the time and dedication it takes to coach these teams, travel around with them, while being full-time teachers as well. So it's not an easy job. Should be a good one, though. We're going to be looking for Wellnitz in the front. Parker's having a great junior year for Haysprings. Another qualification for state on his mind, and maybe make some noise at state as well. And then Mason Albrecht from Haysprings. He's also a junior, doing a great job this year, improving, chasing his teammate Wellnitz. But those two young men, not a big team, but a mighty team for the Hawks. And GR, of course, trying to break through and maybe find their way to state as a team. They've got a lot of young men who are pushing and getting better, getting closer to the top of their respective meets. It'll all come down to the district meet, of course, here later in October. But so far, things are going well for Gordon-Rushville. Can see the runners over there on hole number 8. It's almost to the highway to the south of me here, and then we're going to have to run the whole length of hole number 5 before turning and running towards the clubhouse on 4. That's when we're going to get our first look at them. They will come toward us to the clubhouse, turn, and go out on a loop around holes 1 and 2 and 3 before coming back to the clubhouse and running by one more time and making another loop. Kind of a loopy course for the runners. Starting to see some young men over there running down 5. I can see the tops of their heads. Should be seeing them here fairly quickly. Coming down hole number 4. It'll be in the upper right-hand portion of your screen. There's a young lady out there in a pink shirt. That's right where they're going to come from. There's the lead cart. Let's see who is leading the pack here in this first portion of the race. And it's Wellnitz. Parker, junior from Hay Springs, is in first place. Gets a squirt of water on the way by, and Wellnitz is taken off. Got a pretty sizable lead. I believe that's Luke Laws behind Wellnitz. It is. Luke, the sophomore, chasing Wellnitz. Looks like a runner from Little Wound. Behind, 2 runners from Little Wound behind Laws for 3rd and 4th. Wellnitz turns the corner and heads out on holes 1, 2, and 3. In 6th place is Mason Albrecht. Albrecht, the junior from Hay Springs. Elijah Ross in his back pocket along, looks like Robert Moore. Yep, Robert Moore right behind Eli. And then Riley Leffler chasing them. So, Ross, Moore, and Leffler all in contention for the top 10 right now. Here comes Jackson Roffers. Roffers in 11th. Dragan Leonard there as well. Couple Mustangs coming through. There's Aiden Heiser. Mustang group coming off a team win in Bridgeport, looking to take home the top prize at their home meet. We got another young man from Hay Springs running in the varsity race. Not sure who that is. I'll have to check the results tonight. Not familiar with that young man, but 3rd hawk in the race. As we await these runners to do their first loop on holes 1 through 3. I see the and I can see Parker Wellnitz still leading the way for Hay Springs. The junior out to an early lead here. We saw them last. It was Laws who was behind him. A couple of state qualifiers out there running. Look for those two to be going back there this fall. And there is Luke Laws. Not much of a camera shot there, so I'm going to wait for them to get a bit closer before we try to do much with it. But all the boys are through the first loop. Saw the cart go by, so this race a little more tightly packed than the girls' race. Going to be some action coming through here quick. As you can see, Parker Wellnitz in the upper left portion of the screen just disappeared. He's in first place. He'll be coming through the road here as the lead cart, driven by Alton Archibald, accompanied by Dr. DeLiesel, escorting the gentleman past the practice green, and there's Wellnitz. Parker, first place. In the background, you can see Luke Laws. That's second place. Wellnitz already in control. The junior flexing his muscles here at the Gordon Country Club. He goes through first, then there he takes off. Now we await Laws. And there he is. Luke crossing the road in second place. Laws does have a couple young men threatening behind him, though. Third, fourth, and fifth, not that far behind. But Luke running strong. A couple more athletes coming through. Third, fourth, and fifth. And then there's Robert Moore along with Mason Albrecht and Eli Ross. Moore and Ross from Gordon-Rushville. Albrecht from Hayes Springs. There's Riley Leffler. Leffler chasing the pack, vying for a top 10 finish. The freshman coming through. Back across the road, here comes Jackson Roffers. Roffers trying to catch that lead pack. Jackson Roffers coming through. There's a young man from Valentine. And then Dragan Leonard with a athlete from Morrill chasing him. Leonard with the long white pants here on a hot September day. Another athlete from Morrill working his way through. And then we've got a Valentine runner and then Aiden Heiser. Heiser pushing here in the heat. Working his way through. Shattered runner right behind him. Followed by another shattered runner. Two runners from Little Wound. Another shattered runner coming through. Tailing. All Mustangs have been through so far. We're still waiting on a Hawk. Wellnitz in first. Laws in second. Moore was in sixth. Albrecht was in seventh. Eli Ross was in eighth. Got a runner from Little Wound coming through. One from Shattered, one from Morrill. Two from Valentine behind the Morrill runner. As they reach the halfway point, they're headed back out on the course. Here comes our third and final Hawk. Making his way through. Should be seeing Wellnitz before too long. Final runner coming through from Little Wound. Looking strong. As we await the lead pack coming around on their second loop. First place looked pretty lengthy lead. Wellnitz might have it in the bag, but there was quite a cluster of young men from second until 14th or 15th. So it's going to be a good finish. Probably going to see some sprinting here at the end. Good old-fashioned race for the tape. Just going to have to be patient and wait for them to get back as they log the miles. have a little time off from broadcasting after today. Next Friday night, GR welcomes in Kearney Catholic, I believe. That'll be our next broadcast, as volleyball really played a lot at home recently and are going to spend some time on the road until their final 2 matches at home later in the year. As I see the lead cart coming through as we're getting ready for the home stretch here. Wellnut still leading. We'll see how sizable that lead is over Laws, or if Laws is still holding on to second place. He had a couple runners trying to chase him down. Parker, the junior, looks to be in control here. Finished third in Hot Springs on Tuesday. Now looking for that gold medal here. And he probably has it locked up. Haven't seen a second place runner yet. As Wellnuts comes through and heads out to hole number 1 to finish what should be a first place race. I'm just starting to see Luke Laws' legs coming through the trees. Laws in second place. Pretty good lead for Luke right now, as Wellnuts is already halfway down hole number 1. We're going to see Parker finish here before too long. He is cooking. Laws has a good lead right now in second place over the runner from Valentine, but anything can happen on the back half, as water is offered by his teammates. He's going to pass on it and keep going. Interesting development here. Robert Moore has jumped into 5th place, chasing 2 Valentine runners. Robert running strong, the freshman doing a good job closing the gap. He's going to try to chase down those 2 runners from Valentine and vie for a 3rd place finish. Back on the other side, Riley Leffler has made a jump as well. Leffler in 6th place as he pulls ahead here, looking to maybe catch more in the 2 Valentine runners. Mason Albrecht coming through. He's in 8th. Young man from Valentine, and Elijah Ross, 9th and 10th right now. Eli the junior, can he make a move here? Move up higher in the top 10. As we've started to get some separation, some moves have been made. 4 Mustangs in the top 10 currently. Here comes Jackson Ruffers. Ruffers just outside the top 10. Jackson with a good run here. Trying to hold off the runner behind him from Valentine. Another runner behind him from Morrill. And then I see the white pants of Dragan Leonard coming through there. He illuminates on the screen in the sunlight. Far right corner of your screen. Leonard coming through. Leonard just outside the top 10, probably 14, 15-ish. And Parker Wellnuts coming down hole number 3 right now. Wellnuts in cruise control. We'll get Parker when he turns the road here, as I see Aiden Heiser coming out of the trees. Sophomore putting in a good race. Going to have a top 20 finish here. As let's pan over to the left here. Let's get your leader, Parker Wellnuts. Really running hard as Wellnuts, the junior. Excited to see where he ends up toward the end of his season. Definitely one of the top runners in Class D from right here in Sheridan County. Parker Wellnuts to the line. First place finish for the Hawks Junior. Back the other way. There goes Heiser out for his loop. Luke Laws closing the distance on hole number 3. Laws is going to finish in second place. Mustang with a top 2 finish at his home meet. Wellnitz with a strong race for first, but here comes Luke. Then we're going to have a pretty good race coming after that, as I see one of the Valentine runners and Robert Moore vying for third place. But here comes Luke Laws, going to cross the road. Mustang sophomore going to finish strong. Pretty big home crowd here cheering him on. Laws will finish in second place. And Laws to the line. Here comes Robert Moore trying to chase down the Valentine runner. Does he have enough? It doesn't look like he does, but a fourth place finish from Moore. Top 5 for Bob. Good job, Robert. Mustang freshman with a solid run. Here comes another runner from Valentine for a fifth place finish. Riley Leffler now streaking across the road. Leffler coming in for a sixth place finish here. Mustang freshman finishing strong. There he is in your screen right there. Riley to the finish line. Now back the other way. Mason Albrecht trying to hold off Eli Ross for 7th and 8th. Albrecht will. Ross will get 8th. 4 Mustangs in the top 10. Now we await the rest of them. So just like the girls, the boys put 4 in the top 10, locking up that team title, I'm sure. Here comes Roffers following the Little Wound runner. Jackson sprinting for the finish. A good run here from Jack. A sophomore pushes for the line and comes through the tunnel of fans to the finish. Good run from Jackson. Got a Morrill runner coming in. Luke Laws, second place. Robert Moore, 4th place. Riley Leffler, 6th place. Elijah Ross, 8th place. Mustangs with 20 team points. That'll be good enough for the win. Hay Springs, a good showing, too, as well. Parker Wellnitz wins it. 1st place for the Hawks. And then Mason Albrecht with a 7th place finish. So both young men from Hay Springs have a strong showing. Dragon Leonard coming in strong. Mustang sophomore pushing for the finish. There he goes. Leonard. Good finish for Dragon. Good race for the Mustang sophomore. Morrill runner coming in strong. Followed by a young man from Shadron. Good finish there. And here comes the final Mustang runner, Aiden Heiser. Heiser coming in strong for the Mustangs. The sophomore trying to hold off the runner from Valentine. We're going to have a race to the finish here. Heiser's going to get passed in the last minute. Still a good run for Aiden. Young man from Shadron coming in now. Another Shattered runner coming in. All the Mustangs are in. 4 of them in the top 10. All the Hawks are in. Oh, one more Hawk coming here. Pretty good race here between some runners from Little Wound and Valentine. Runner from Shattered finishing. Got a good race here between Little Wound and Morrill. Here he comes from Morrill. Now it's a sprint. Always fun to watch the little races within the race, especially when you get to the finish line, get to crunch time. Couple more runners coming through. We're about done here for today. Always enjoy this, broadcasting cross country once a year. Kind of a different broadcast, not quite as constant action as some of the other sports we do, but the toughest of the toughest do cross country, I'll tell you that much. It's not an easy sport, as we got a young man from Valentine coming through, followed by a Morrill runner. Full sprint coming to the finish. Can the Morrill runner catch him? We're going to be close. Valentine holds on. And our final runner, I believe, is coming down the course. We might have one more after this. Got a young man from Hay Springs coming in. Finishing strong. Almost done here. Wrapping up the Gordon-Rushville Cross Country invite. Pretty good day if you're a Mustang or a Hawk fan, as both teams have been well represented and did a nice job. Congrats to all the other teams who attended. Best of luck the remainder of your cross-country seasons. I mentioned earlier, next time I'll be on the air will be for football. It'll be a week from tomorrow. I will not be in Mitchell tomorrow, so there's no football broadcast tomorrow night. Mitchell does have a free stream that you can watch. So if you want to support the Mustangs, you can catch them there or head down to Mitchell, watch them play the Tigers. And Saturday, the ladies will be at the Mitchell tournament, playing probably 4 matches. So a lot of Mustang sports action going on in Mitchell tomorrow and Saturday. Final runner to the finish line from Little Wound. Here he comes. And that will conclude our day here at Gordon Country Club. Cross-country meet for 2024 is in the books. Final runner to the finish line. So the Mustangs did a nice job. Girls, Krebs second, Denning third, Barker fifth, Clark 7, Laws 2, Moore 4th, Leffler 6th, Ross 8th. So 4 top 10 finishers for the Mustangs in both the girls and boys. For Hay Springs, Arian Mata first place in the middle school race. And then Parker Wellnitz wins the varsity boys race. Mason Albrecht finishes in 7th place. So for the 2024 Gordon-Rushville Cross Country Invitational, that's all she wrote. I'm going to sign off. I hope you guys have a nice Friday tomorrow. Have a great weekend. We'll talk to you guys next week. Thanks for stopping by and tuning in.